is live behind the end zone. Gerhard, I got to ask, how's the weather today so far?
That's so much better, man. So much better. It is a lot warmer out here today than yesterday. And I think another big thing is that now all players have that first practice underneath their belt. You could tell that there's a lot more intention of what they're doing as far as going from drill to drill, going from the warm-ups to the next thing. And so I think everybody's feeling a little bit more comfortable because we did get that first day in. I think all of us in the media as well, because yesterday it's, you get your credentials and you after the welcoming party, and everybody's getting their feet wet day one, and now everybody's is ready here for day two. But the weather is so much better, I'll tell you that off the jump. I don't know about tonight, and I know Saturday is going to be absolutely crazy as far as the weather goes here. So a lot of these guys that are preparing to play in the NFC North, whether it's Chicago or in the AFC North in Pittsburgh or Baltimore, they'll get a taste of it coming up on Saturday because it is going to be absolutely cold. Got a taste of it yesterday, but a nice reprieve here today, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure most of these guys that are from the SEC footprint that stayed in the SEC aren't really used to it being this cold at this point in the year.
Yep.
But talking about day one yesterday, what were some of your main takeaways from some of the guys who obviously have not really been here before and kind of seeing how they have gone through the process so far?
I think there's a couple of things. All eyes will definitely be on the quarterbacks, and especially after last year. Obviously, we had Jackson Dart, who came in here last year and improved his draft stock all the way up to a first-rounder. The year before that, Michael Penix came in, had a really good Senior Bowl practice week. He ended up being a first-round draft pick. Other guys, too, that we have seen come in and really parlay that success. A lot of times, too, here at the Senior Bowl, when they do team drills, it really all starts with the quarterback. If the quarterback fumbles the snap, the play dies. You don't know how well the offensive line did. You don't know how well the receivers do. You don't know how well the running back does because the play kind of dies right there. So I think that obviously the quarterback situation is going to be the headliner. Garrett Nussmeier, obviously, a really good quarterback 2 years ago at LSU, trying to give the NFL scouts, hey, what he was a couple seasons ago. Back in 2024, that was the real him, not 2025. I think he looked really sharp in the drills that we saw yesterday. Got a chance, obviously, to see Diego Pavia, the Heisman Trophy finalist, and a few others. Sawyer Robertson, really, you could see the whip on his arm. You could tell the reason why he was one of the nation's leading passers a season ago. So I had my eyes mainly on the quarterbacks yesterday. I want to watch a little bit more today, the receivers and DBs and those position drills. Those can always get really intense. And like we talked about yesterday, these lineman drills on the inside, they do them every week or every day of the week. They'll do a version of one-on-ones, and then they'll do the red zone plays, which are kind of must-watch television. So the quarterback's kind of where it started yesterday, and just to see where the hype was as it relates to where the substance is, and it kind of sets the table for the next 2 days. And now we're here with the beginning of the national practice on day two.
We'll go ahead and talk about the quarterbacks at the top of hour two. I want to focus on the defensive side right now because there's been a few clips from yesterday's first practice, most notably the Michigan D lineman just bulldozing the Miami offensive lineman, but also looked like Kieron Crawford threw an in-state rival Alabama guy down. What was the atmosphere like when that happened, and is there that juice that everyone likes to talk about in the air right now?
Yeah. So that was in a one-on-one drill. You're talking about the Auburn-Alabama battle. And, of course, when those two helmets just get up in a one-on-one situation, everything ratchets it up anyways. And so all the guys knew it as well. But you're right. Kieron Crawford, he came in. I mean, obviously people knew about his talent, but he was a bit overshadowed because Keldrick Falk was going to be a first-round pick, and he was obviously the main guy. But Crawford came in and obviously battling, going one-on-one with the Alabama offensive line. But what I found hilarious was the hype even started before that drill started. And so then once those two, locked horns, so to speak, it was a lot of fun, So it was great to see both teams, Alabama and Auburn. And we're seeing a lot of rivals here that are locking horns, but that matchup in particular was really good. And so I want to see how the defense responds today in the American practice. Same thing here with the offensive practice. But you mentioned that Iron Bowl rivalry. We got a chance to hear from those guys after that matchup and after practice.
It went pretty good. I just got to get more adjusted and get back into it. But I'm ready to dominate tomorrow, ready to run through somebody, and ready to show the NFL coaches what I'm really about. I got one word. It's more opportunity. Just taking more of my opportunity and making the most of it is the biggest thing. I feel like the opportunity it's something that's slim to none to many most, and a lot of people don't want to be in this position. So just making the most of opportunity is like the biggest thing. Jalen McLeod, I talked to him a lot this week and last week, just getting prepared on like what the meeting is going to be like, what the week is going to be like, and just how compact it's going to get. And you just got to be able to show your best, and being able to communicate and be yourself is like the biggest part of it.
Mr. Crawford there, basically, talking a little bit about his time here at the Senior Bowl, but also you mentioned yesterday that Jalen McLeod was one of the guys that really showed him the ropes from last year. Said, hey, this is what to expect when you're talking to the recruiters. This is what to expect when you're talking to the coaches and the scouts. So all these Auburn and Alabama guys, because there are so many that come year after year after year, you almost kind of get the answers to the test before you even get here to Mobile. And then, of course, there's a lot of Alabama and Auburn jerseys that are in the stands, and you see a lot of Auburn and Alabama fans that are in the stands there as well. Tim Keenan is another guy that's down here as well. Keenan's a guy that I think if you were to judge, I think maybe towards the end of last year, the beginning of this year, people thought he might have been able to play his way into the first round. He is here. But at the beginning of the season, remember, he suffered that ankle injury, so he was banged up at the beginning of the year. But now he's got a chance here to kind of redeem himself against the best of the best offensive linemen. I know that Alabama's O-line was kind of ballyhooed over the course of the regular season, but he's got a chance here to kind of prove it to the best of the best here, and we got a chance to hear from him yesterday as well.
Well, when with NIL, things are out of our control, but Coach Roach, he's a great coach. You feel me? You talking to me right now, and I wasn't the player that I was when I first walked into Bama. So, I was able to stay there and develop. When you're there for 5 years, you're able to, go through ups and downs, you get the humility, and you're able to have that player development from your coach and from the university to understand the culture, to understand the play. So with NIL and transfers and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to, pour into a kid when you don't know if he's going to be there the next year or two. So Coach Rose did a great job developing me. Being Tim Keenan III, I be the best me, and that's all I need to be. Coming in here, controlling the run, having fun, leading, making the plays that come to me because I'm a momentum starter, momentum shifter. I'm the spark plug when it comes to it. So I make your job easier, and also too just communicating. Yes, competition. Yeah, we all trying to get a job, but at the end of the day, we trying to whoop the old lineman. Oh, it was great. It's a great environment. I had to compete with guys I usually don't play next to, but it's been fun. And it's like, oh, man, if we was all on the same team, it'll be hell. But, yeah, it's been fun playing with some new guys. It's an honor and a blessing. And, too, like Mobile, they're showing a lot of love, So to have that home field advantage, to have the love from the fans, to come out here and compete, it's definitely a blessing to them.
So you heard the objective there, whoop the O-line. He's just kind of very matter-of-fact about what he wanted to do moving forward. We'll see what it looks like here in day two. But the competitive juices are really flowing, usually at the beginning of practice. We saw this yesterday as well. It's melancholy is not the right word, but it's just a little bit more tame. The energy's down a little bit. It picks up as the one-on-ones get there as well. So everybody's a lot more business-like here at the beginning part of practice. We saw that yesterday and today as well. And I expect it to ratchet up here over the next couple of hours in Senior Bowl practice day two, the national team on the field.
Yeah, and we like to play games on this show. So why don't we go ahead and put ourselves in the boots of the scouts, so to speak. Let's start with Tim Keenan. What do you think is an accurate projection for him going in the draft this year?
He's a big guy, a mauler, and I kind of take what Drew Fabianich said because he's a former scout. And I actually want to pick the brains of former scouts and find out some about these guys, the guys that can, boost that projection going into next year. With Tim Keenan for now, I think he can play himself into that day two, possibly even into maybe day one if he looks good at the combine and everything else. The problem with him has been about his health, obviously, so everybody wants to make sure that he's fine there. I think Keenan could play himself there into day two with a good showing here at the Senior Bowl.
How about on the other side, Kieran Crawford?
For Crawford, I think that he could possibly play himself into day two there as well. The thing about him, obviously, I think he'll have to show it not only here, but also at the pro day and at the combine. And I think that once he lines up at the pro day, at Auburn's pro day, and he is side by side with Keldrick Falk, and you're seeing all the similarities between those guys, you'll take the tape from the Senior Bowl, then you'll take his tape from the combine if he ends up going, and then take his tape from the pro day. And I think if people are like, oh, hey, you know what, this guy is actually maybe not just as good, but in that same ballpark as Falk, you can see a major rise in his draft stock. So I can see him playing himself into day 2 there as well for both those guys. And of course, we talked about injuries being one thing. You have to obviously test well and everything else and all the metrics. I think both guys do that. Both guys are NFL bodies. It's just where they're slated in the draft coming up in April.